The Flint Hills of Kansas were a little lonely in 1935, so God made a girl. God said, I need someone who'll adore her daddy, someone who'll love her mama long after she's gone, and someone to steer two little brothers away from mischief and into the show barn. So God made a girl. He needed someone who was strong and gutsy and tough as boot leather, but who could clean up nice and pile her hair up high and act the part of a lady. So God made a girl. God said, I need a girl who'll walk to and from the red top school and then come home and saddle her own horse using only her muscles and a rope and pulley, who'll bring in the milk cows and care for the chickens, and then retire to the house where she'll stand on a box so she's big enough to wash dishes with the women folk. So God made a girl. Somebody who loves the English language but loves people more and was torn between wanting to become a teacher or a nurse. Somebody who wasn't afraid to work and was insistent on paying her way through college. So God made a girl. A girl who sealed the deal with her very own Pall Mall man while working at a local bank. The Pall Mall man had known her most of his life and knew she'd make a fine one, so God made a wife. God said, I need someone to care for this untamed creature, to feed him and love him and be his best hired hand, so God made a wife. Someone who would milk cows and sort eggs and heat check cattle and pull windmills and cook a good hot meal that didn't involve soup or sandwiches and make extra on a whim because who knows who might have been joining them for supper, so God made a wife. Somebody to bear his children and to carry on the Rusk name, so God made a mom. God said, I need someone who'll feed babies and clean bottoms and kiss boo-boos, all while operating on 4 hours of interrupted sleep. So God made a mom. Somebody who can shape a soul and find boots on a Sunday morning and get grass stains out of Levi's. Somebody with a heart strong enough for toddler tantrums and teenage testing, yet broken enough to fall on her knees and pray, pray, pray. Somebody who could put in an 80-hour week by Wednesday and do one more load of laundry and one more sink of crusted dishes and keep on going 80 more hours because raising generations matters and leaving legacies matters. So God made a mom. God said, I need somebody brave enough to invest and invest some more and give up her time because they have her heart. And then let go while smiling courageously and encouraging endlessly. So God made a mom. Somebody who would yearn for more babies and get them in the most surprising and delightful of ways. So God made a granny. God said, I need someone who'll be surprised by their love for these precious new beings. Someone who loved their own kids so much and couldn't possibly dream of loving someone else on the same level, but could. So God made a granny. Somebody to show off those grandbabies and get back to the basics of stick horses and cars and trampolines and tricycles. Times of borrowed horses and endless snuggles and silly skits and lipstick kisses. Pudding and popcorn and pounds of mashed potatoes, so God made a granny. Somebody who'd be their biggest cheerleader and fiercest prayer warrior and loudest clapper on graduation night, so God made a granny. God said, I need someone who will pour into a younger generation in a way their parents can't. Someone that will love them loyally and rescue them in times of turmoil and take their side without even hearing the rest of the story. So God made a granny. Somebody to attend all of their weddings, both near and far, and rejoice with them as they bring their own little lives into the world. So God made a granny. And she did so well, she was promoted to a guru. A great-grandmother who is truly just as the name ascribes. Somebody who won't lose the pep in her step or the sparkle in her eye, whose love can be multiplied, not divided, as families grow and babies boom. Somebody who can still rock and sway and swaddle and pamper and swing and feed and bathe and entertain just as well and maybe even better than in her own mothering years. So God made a guru. Someone who can read countless books and lift littles onto laps and conduct cooking classes and drive hundreds of miles on her hands and knees and thousands of miles on pavement just to lend a hand or to celebrate first and second and third and fourth and fifth birthdays. So God made a guru. God said, I need somebody to bless these babies. to lay their tired, wrinkled hands on these fresh new foreheads and proclaim my goodness over them all the days of their lives. Somebody who will nourish them spiritually and physically and feed them popsicles at 10 a.m. snack because, by golly, they've had a rough morning. Somebody who, given half a chance, wouldn't trade the memories they're making for $1 trillion because time is precious and life is roaring by, so God made a goo-goo. A girl, a wife, a mom, a granny, a goo-goo, Maxine. God made Maxine. The matriarch and glue that binds this family together because she's spent her days weaving the heartstrings of lives and generations into a family circle that she prays, literally prays, will never be broken. God said, I need someone that I can call on at 40 years of age to follow me and live for me and realize that it's not too late, that it's never too late. Someone that will let me grace their next 40 years with good and fruitful things. Someone who will live to make my name known simply by the way she lives her life and cares for others, family or not. So God made Maxine. Someone who gives freely and generously and sacrificially of her time and energy and resources. Someone who sends gifts and helps pay bills and writes checks, even if they never get cashed, and contributes to the fund that sends you to the nations and blesses you, even if her physical account runs dry. So God made Maxine. God said, I need someone who can remember dates and birthdays and anniversaries and occasions unprompted and with incredible accuracy. Someone who can still communicate faithfully with an ink pen and a legal pad. Who still prints photos to send in the mail, not post on Facebook. Who can watch an old Western on a console TV and call you from her landline to tell you about it. So God made Maxine. God said, I need someone who can slave the day away in the kitchen or the yard or the back pasture, yet look like they've never even broken a sweat. Someone whose jewelry is on, lipstick is shining, and hair is teased and sprayed. Someone who still has a groove down her back after 80 years of life and can rock knee-high boots on a Sunday morning, and who can still turn heads and rev engines and get mistaken for mothers, not grandmothers, and certainly not great-grandmothers, so God made Maxine. He said, I need someone to enjoy the simpler things in life. Cherry limeades with just the right amount of sugar, visits from family, breakfast right when your feet hit the floor, weekly hair appointments that just can't be missed. Autumn afternoons when the world is back on a schedule and time is slowed to a peaceful pace. A wall of pictures to admire and pray over, nice casual clothes, a letter in the mail, memories of days gone by, and a good pair of blue jeans. So God made Maxine. God said, I need somebody that can wrap a package pretty with used paper and wrinkled bows and fill it with so much love that it looks like $1 million when it's all said and done. Someone who can catch a bull snake with a plunger in a trash can right before bedtime and still sleep as sound as a newborn baby. Someone who can fashion a pair of panties into a mosquito net so a grandkid doesn't choke to death on gnats as they make their way back to the house. Someone who's got more try and heart and perseverance than the grittiest of cowboys, so God made Maxine. And God said, I need someone who can love, and love well, and love with reckless abandon and unbridled enthusiasm. Someone who can gush passionately when asked about her family, who is unwavering in her allegiance to them, and whose love runs as deep and wide and unending as the tick of time itself. Someone who's bought in and invested and staunch in her care and devotion for the generations that have preceded her and those who've come after, who will carry her legacy to 1,000 more. Thank God He made Maxine.